This is the Debbie Nigro Show, and what I mean by a Debbie Doublecast is we're both on Facebook Live and on the radio at the same time. It's a trick. We got a big trick going on if you're on Facebook Live. How you doing, everybody? I'm trying to hook up here. Every time I do this, the computer doesn't work. Bobby, turn my mic down. I want to pull this closer to me and back up. So we're trying to be logistic. I got all these guys in the studio today. I like that a lot. And one great girl. And we're going to bring you a great show. Today is about firewood. Don't know if you guys are into fires. I'm into all things hot. Burning, hunk of burning love. And, fire. You've ever tried to make a fire in the woods like the olden days? And if you can, call me, because if I ever get lost, I need you. I have no idea how to do that, and I always worried that someday I would need to. But right now I have matches. That's a good start. And I'm going to match you up today with two guys who are in the firewood business. And I was fascinated they went this direction because I don't know anybody in the firewood business. You know, I always got a guy, I always got a girl. I never had two guys, or maybe three or more, and a girl behind the scenes who know everything there is to know about firewood. So I'm sure that many of you want to do what you do this time of year, build a fire for your family. And there are certain kinds of woods that are better than others. There are certain ways you light a fire. There are certain ways to stack wood, certain ways to gather wood. And the fire is very symbolic. And sitting around a fire is very symbolic. If there's more than one person, typically you are gathered to, just kind of hang out and talk, and you're forced to get to be human. If there's two people, hopefully there's a bear rug. Anyway, in the studio today, I have two guys who are the Greatest Blaze owners, a great new company that's not only locally in the area that we're broadcasting from at AM 1490 WGCH, but also globally now, because they have greatestblaze.com, and they are collecting and aggregating and selling to fire aficionados all the greatest things in that space, and ultimately going to have the greatest of all things. So because it's a video simulcast, I'm having to look cute. How do I look today? Wash my hair. Hair always looks bad on this show. Lighting's horrible. I ate too much salt last night. I was laying on the couch eating a lot of, I don't know, Bob, what was I eating? Salty stuff. So I'm bagged out, and I don't really care. So now in the studio, to my left is Paul Bourdet. Paul C. Bourdet. What is the C for?
Cedric.
Cedric. Get out of here, Cedric.
Yep.
Who has a middle name, Cedric?
It's British.
It is?
British, yes.
Okay, say hi to everybody in Facebook Live land. That's Paul Bourdet. John Heffernan is next to me. That's easy. John Heffernan. Do they know? They canceled your name. John is no longer cool.
I believe that.
You have no more babies going to be named John.
Yeah.
You're it. My father was John. My brother was John. You're John. How many Johns do you have?
I have a son who's a Jake, who's a John, and I'm a junior, so.
Oh, now Jake is cool, but
Jake
John
is cool.
is out.
My father's Jack. John is a toilet.
Yeah, John's
Gotta
out.
go to the John.
I've got a Jack too, by the way.
You got a Jack?
Yeah.
What's a Jack Terrier?
No, I've got a Jack Terrier too, but I do
You have a Jack Terrier? I knew
Jack
that.
Bourdet.
What
Yes.
guy with a middle name Cedric wouldn't have a Jack Terrier? It's like psychic.
Just call him Ced.
Who's Jack?
My middle guy.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so you're family guys, right? Are we on Facebook? I don't like that camera there, Timmy. Can you move that camera? Where do you want it? I went over there. Because I keep having to look over there, and I don't want to look over there. And I got a bad profile, and I don't want to hold my stomach in. I warned you how I like to do this. Tim Judge is in the house, homesearchtv.com. He's the guy who got me started with Facebook Live, showing me how. And now we have Alexandra Payanetti, a sweetheart of a brilliant young woman who's going to be learning from Tim how to get rid of Tim so she can help me because Tim's too busy. And then Tim's going to do all the search
Eddie's had
engine.
enough of you.
That's not true. Tim, you still love me?
Still love you.
Still love me. He's into search engine optimizations. I'll be using him for a higher cause. Is that my phone? Oh, sorry about that. Everybody phones off, including me. Bobby, my trusty engineer, you're looking lovely today.
Thank
At
you.
some point, we have to swing the camera over to see Bob, and he's got to give him a little love
need a
today.
tie or
You
something.
no, you don't need a tie. There's Bobby. Wave, Bob.
Wave, Bob.
Nice
Wave, Bob.
shirt.
Well, I'm smiling. That's good enough.
They tell you in television not to wear stripes because it gives people a headache because they start to wiggle.
Yeah, this would do that.
And they used to tell, that's nice, Tim. I feel like I can look up. Tim,
Go ahead.
you like that?
No.
Me neither. Anyway, the guys are here, and they brought a lot of firewood, okay? Because I want to learn, and I imagine people want to learn, the different kinds of firewood that are available, why you would choose certain ones, how you're going to light a fire, and they've got some innovation, too. So the first thing you want to tell everybody is, why did you start the Greatest Blaze? Tell everybody the story.
Okay, well, we started out, it was more of a hobby. I mean, John and I are passionate wood-burning people, and we started selling to friends and family, and it just exploded.
Well, wait a minute now. What were you doing for a living before you started selling firewood to your friends and family?
I have another career, but I've been
What is it?
been in the restaurant business for a long time.
So what do you know about firewood?
I know that it's warm. It brings people together. It's
You've chopped wood.
yes.
You've stacked wood.
Yep.
You've lit fires.
Yep.
You've put them out.
Put them out.
You're an expert. What do you know about fires, and how did you get into the business? What's your real life?
So growing up in my family, we always cut down our own trees and
What?
cut down our own trees, split.
You cut your own trees down?
Oh yeah,
Brave
my
family.
father, who's 77, is still doing it, and we split, and bring it in, carry it. So he who splits his own wood warms himself twice. Henry Ford said that, and that's kind of our family motto. Like, all right, we can all have fun up here at the farm, but we're gonna work. We're gonna work hard, and we're gonna
So do you
enjoy
have
the fire later.
chainsaw people?
Chainsaw. Oh yeah, we run the chainsaws and we split by hand. So any brother-in-law that marries into the family or offspring, they're working, and sometimes they don't always like it.
That's a hard interview. If you want to get into the family, you got to be able to operate a chainsaw. You didn't hear the story this week. This is a true news story. I always say I do a fun ride to the news. This was not a fun story, but it's a crazy story about a chainsaw, about a guy who was with another buddy and they were out chopping wood. I forget exactly where it was. It was in the news yesterday. Oh, it's a terrible story. And they were a little whacked out, if you will. And one kept coming at the other like to joke around with him, and he cut off his private.
Yikes!
What? Oh my
And we will
gosh.
continue on with the show.
Yeah,
It was a
something else. Let's talk about
big
something else.
story. What
Ouch.
was happening? It was in the news yesterday. I was like this. My God. Anyway,
Let me just add to what John was saying too, because whenever you're up at his farm, to earn your keep up there, you got to chop a lot of wood. So
so if I came to your farm, you didn't know me from a hole in the wall, and I was just trying to get in the family, I have to chop wood?
We give you the 6-point splitting maul instead of the 8. So yes,
What's a 6-point versus an 8?
6 pound. I mean, it's just smaller. It's like using a 7-iron versus a driver. And
But that's how you get, nobody gets away, nobody doesn't have to do that?
you gotta, or you're stacking. My daughter, since she was 3, was picking up pieces of wood. Everybody helps out.
You're not Italian, because that's not the
Yeah, I
ritual
am.
to get into an Italian family.
My
They
mother's
bring you
Italian.
right in the kitchen and they go, well, what do you call this? Sauce of gravy? Can you make a meatball? It's so much less stressful. Anyway, Paul Cedric Bourdet. What is Bourdet? What kind of name?
it's French.
And what, French people chop wood?
They do.
Really?
Yeah.
They think a little delicate. I never expected the
Sliced
French.
bread, I think, too.
Really?
He's good at
What do you hack up the bread with a?
See him
With a
eat.
Everything.
All right.
Yes.
So the history of the company. You decided this is your hobby, and then you're going to sell all. You chopped a lot of wood and decided to sell it to family and friends, and they were like, "Yes, great." How did they used to get their wood?
Yeah, so it was just a cultural thing for John and I all the time, and we would talk about it, and people would always ask, how do you age wood and what goes into the process? And one day we looked at each other and said, we could do this for a living, or at least to try to make some money. And we went out and sourced a couple of places that have really great firewood, one in Pennsylvania and one in Vermont. And we started kind of pushing our friends to try it, and they were all reluctantly kind of laughing at us and saying, okay, we'll try it. And all of a sudden they were like, this is pretty good stuff.
Why did you have to go all the way to Vermont or Pennsylvania, and why couldn't you get wood around the tri-state area? What's the difference in the wood?
Well, I think that the places in Pennsylvania, they have blends, different types of woods that are there, and they process it, they spin it, they bake it, and they put
What?
it through
They all this before you burn it?
yeah,
They're baking the wood before you burn it?
they put it through a kiln, and the heat goes up, and they take the moisture out of it, and it comes out pristine, perfect, like gold.
It sounds like something I need to de-bloat. I need a kiln. When we come back, you have brought show and tell. We're going to show you the kinds of woods that they're involved with. The one's called pinyon wood.
Pignon.
That too. Pignon. Makes me want to
He's
think
French.
Pignon wood. And then we have
It's Pinus Edinus.
that too. Sounds nasty. And the other samples of some kiln dried wood, and we have a new invention that you guys have that's really cool.
Yep.
So you're going to be able to see it here on Facebook Live. And Timmy, we're going to go to a commercial, but come back for show and tell. So bye bye for you for now. Everybody on the radio, stay tuned. We'll be